Hello guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to cover batch processing. So as you are able to see my screen, as you can see that we are using a batch processing for synchronization data from one system to another system. Suppose we have a NetSuite system and Salesforce system and we want to retrieve data from both system, and one data is coming from NetSuite and going to Salesforce. So we are first retrieving a huge amount of data from NetSuite and going to insert into Salesforce and vice versa. So basically batch processing is nothing but ETL job, extract, transformation and loading job from one system to another systems, and basically it is able to handle a large amount of data, or we can transfer a large amount of data. So this is a kind of batch processing. This is a kind of overview. We have what is a Mule application, and Mule application we have a flow. Inside the flow we have a batch scope, and the batch architecture saying that we have a source, after we have a processor. So batch scope is a part of processor, and a batch processing, inside the web processing we have a multiple steps, step 1, step 2. So this is a basically basic architecture. So let me uh, direct jump into code. So I'm going to create a one small sample application for batch processing. Although I have another examples from basic to complex and advanced example I already created, but in order to show you a basic thing, let me create one small application and just create a batch flow for that. So you are able to see palette here. In the palette, as you can see that this is the basically example. This is basically palette. You are able to see the batch. So we are basically drag and drop the batch. Batch is a scope under the flow. Source can be anything. As of now I'm going to put HTTP listener for trigger point. You can put scheduler also in source. So let me configure that. Use case 0. This is our use case 0. Okay, let me provide an input for batch. So I'm going to use a transform message. In transform message I'm going to provide 1 to 10 as an input. 1 to 10. This is basically input for my batch processing, and let's have one transform message at here. It will basically give me what is the output I have from this flow. So once I put, so basically let me change it. This is JSON output. Yes, so basically output is JSON. I will let you know why I'm doing this JSON output. Okay, so let me use one logger where I'm going to print records. So record has payload. Okay, and this is my record logger. Record logger. Okay. And let me show you one more thing. Logger here, it is my on complete. So I'm going to show you what basically on complete phase payload. So let me convert it to JSON. Application. Okay, it is my on complete phase. Okay, so let me deploy this application locally. As you can see that my application is successfully deployed. Let me send request because I have used HTTP listener as a source. Yeah, so let me show you what I have printed in the logs. So as you can see that I have provided a 10 records. Those records are basically processing one by one because I have put logger here. This record payload, this is basically printing my records, and we have on complete phase. It on complete phase is something when your processing record is finished. If you have multiple step or one step, if you have multiple step, then all step processing done, then the final on complete phase is executed. So let me give you idea about phase. So batch processing having three phase: loading and dispatch phase, process phase, on complete phase. So when we provide a data, to batch processing, first it will skewed all record. It will use persistence queue to saved all record into a file system. So this is a basically first it will split a record, and record type I will explain in the further example. It will saved all records. It will convert your Java iterable and JSON data or basically collection data into a record, and it will saved all record in the queue. Those queues are persistence queue. Once it is saved in record, and then it will basically loading record into process space by a block size. So this is how actually the loading and dispatch space is worked. After that, as you can see that the loading phase is internal, automatic. You don't need to do anything, but the process phase is something what you want to process, what you want to do with the record. So this is about the process record. After process record, we have a on complete phase. It will execute once all record successfully or failure record process, and then it will basically give you summary of your records. So as you can see that we have a total 10 records. This is a total time is taken. We have loaded 10 records. Successful records are 10 and process record are 10. So as you can see that my all records successfully processed, and I am able to print the summary, or basically we can just the report in on complete phase, because in on complete phase we are getting a batch job object. Okay, it is I will give you further example in my future flows what exactly we are getting in on complete phase. So it is an overview that how we can create a simple application. So one more thing is that when you send a request till loading phase, your main thread will be doing your loading job. Once loading job is finished, then your main thread is skipping the batch and will return the response. The batch job uses another threads from pool based on your runtime pools. So basically, as you can see that the main thread returned back after loading phase, and the another threads, multiple thread or combination of thread will executing your batch job. So as you can see that batch job is one way. It is not request and response. You're not waiting for the all records should be processed, then you're getting a response. It is not request and response. It is something, it is one way. So as you can see that we have provided input to the batch job 1 to 10, and I have put one output message as a JSON. So I want to show you that what is a payload we are getting in a output. So output is kind of summary of your loaded record. Once the loading phase is completed, your main thread will go from here to JSON and return back a response to the caller, and another multiple thread will start to process your record. So you are only getting a information about your loaded record. You're not getting information about failure record or successful record or process record, because it is something give you a summary that how many record you have loaded, what is a batch job instance ID, what is the created time, how many record you have given, what is the instance ID. So this is about basically the basic example of the batch processing. Let me close this application and let me start my use cases. So guys, for you, I have created around 20 use cases. For batch processing, I will cover one by one in multiple parts. So let me start with this. So I'm going to basically deploy my application. Okay, meanwhile my application is going to deploy. Let me explain. So as you can see that there are multiple use case number 1, use case number 2, 3, 4. So this basically this 4 use case is telling you that what kind of input we can provide to batch processing, or what kind of data we can load successfully into batch processing. So the first example saying that you have Java map object. Yes, we have a map. You can say hash map or map which having a key value pair. And as of now, MIME type, you can see that it is an application Java. So we are providing a map to batch processing. Okay. And in my all example, I am basically sending a request from listener. We can put scheduler here, but in order to basically send manual request to show you that on time, that's why my all application having HTTP listener, and you can have a scheduler also based on your requirement, means scheduler running on every 10 minutes and retrieving data from your source system and doing processing and saved into target system. You can do that. For my all example, I am using listener. So this is basically, this 4 example is all about what kind of input we can provide to batch job. So let me check my application successfully deployed or not. It is deploying. Yes, as you can see, it is deployed successfully. So in first example, I am providing input Java map key value pair to my batch processing. So let me send request. Yes. So as you can see that it is successfully executed. Guys, just basically just focus here. So as you can see that we provided a key value pair. In my key value pair, there is an object. As you can see that it is an object, but it is a hash map. In my object, there are 4 key and 4 values. But when I print a basically payload here, what is a payload value here in batch step? Batch step is process your record one by one. Basically here inside the batch step, if you put a payload, then you will get one record at a time. Okay. So let me show you what payload I have got. So yes, I have got like payload is object, and we have a value and key. Value would be value 1, value, and key is key 1. But guys, what we have given here, we given as a key 1 and value 1. Inside the batch processing, it basically distinguished or basically converted our key 1 as a key and value 1 as a value. Okay. So and this is a summary, and this is a basically response for loading phase. This is a response only for loading phase, not for complete or entire batch processing. Okay. At the same time, I just convert from application JSON to application Java. Here, as you can see that we provided an application Java. I have keep same payload, but I have changed MIME type. What MIME type I have taken? I have taken a application JSON. So in case of Java, you are able to see it is converted our key 1 value 1 with 2 key with values. But let's see what will happen with application JSON. So I'm going to send use case 2 request. Yes. So my use case 2 request is successfully sent, as we are getting the same thing what we are providing to batch job, but it is accepting our object JSON object, and it will consider the full object as a 4 record, first record, second record, third record. So as you can see that we have migration report is saying that, or the report is saying that summary on complete phase you have a total 4 records. Yeah, let me show you third example saying that we can provide a array 1 to 10 to our batch job. So let me send use case third request. Use case third request is successfully completed, and as you can see that we have like record number 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 10 records. And what summary saying that total loaded record 10, successful record 10, process records also 10. So as of now we have seen that we can provide a Java hash map, we can provide a JSON object. At root level there are 4 keys, so it will consider there are 4 records. We can provide an array and last but not least we can provide an array of object. In array of object, as you can see that we have a array. Inside object we have a key, value is 1, another key, value is 2, third key, value is 3. So let me send 4 request number 4. So I have sent request number 4. So as you can see that it having only 3 records, and at step we have basically logged the response. So what response it is printing? It is printing our actual object which we have got from array of objects. So array length is 3, that's why we have a 3 records. Yeah, and summary, as you can see that also 3. So basically this example is all about input to the batch processing, what kind of input we can provide to batch processing. Yes, so as you can see that all what kind of input we can provide to our batch processing. So this is all about. Let me proceed with my second XML in example 1. This is second XML. So in second XML, example 1 second XML is purely based on variable propagation. So what kind of requirement we have? So as you can see that we're providing a input to batch is 1 to 5 numbers. It is an array of numbers from 1 to 5, and we are setting one variable here, and we are checking that what is a variable value we are getting in a batch step, and also we are checking that what is a uh, when we are getting this variable in on complete phase or not, which we have set here. So this is a one use case. Another use case is that uh, as you can see that we have a 5 records which processed by those batch steps, and those basically those inside batch step we are creating a one more variable called temp, and this variable we are creating for records. So one initial variable outside the batch, and we will be checking that what value we are getting for the records, and one variable for record, and this is a vtemp. This is a record for vtemp, and let me show you what value we are printing. So if payload value is 1, as you can see that if payload value is 1, then I'm setting first. If payload value is 2, second. Payload value is third, third, then I'm setting third as a string. Then in case of other payload value, we are setting as a fourth. So don't confuse with this payload value, because we are sending 1 to 5 numbers of arrays into batch processing, and batch step will take one at a time. So first time it takes one, then second, then third, then fourth. Okay, I will explain this concept in the block size, how exactly we can achieve parallelism in batch processing. So I have created multiple example for block size. You will see in our next example. So yes, so what value I'm setting? Yes, and you might check. You might basically seeing this condition. Why I applied a choice condition? So I applied a choice condition because I don't want to set this temporary variable for record 5 to show you that what value it will see here for record number 5. That's why I'm not setting a vtemp value for record number 5, but for other 4 records I am setting a vtemp values. So let me send a request use case 5, and let me show you what will happen. Yes, so as of now I have deployed in debug mode. So we are forwarding number 1 to 5 number to batch processing. We have set one variable, and as you can see that our loading phase is completed, and our main thread returned to the consumer. Yes, whosoever called. So as you can see that we got the response and summary of loading record, but our combination of thread is started from our runtime pool, and which basically processing our record. So first time we are getting a payload as 1, and let me show you what variable we are getting. So in variable section there are 2 default variable we are getting. One default variable name is batch job instance ID. You are getting this batch job instance ID variable at every steps. Even you're getting the same variable batch job instance ID at on complete phase also. I will show you. So batch instance batch job instance ID is nothing but it's a basically execution ID of your batch when your batch executed, or when the batch starting processing of record. So it will create one unique batch instance ID which you can use for your reports on complete phase, or you can use that key for that particular batch instance is running. This is the batch ID. So as you can see that we have payload 1. Yeah, and the initial variable we are getting the same as which we have set here. Okay, and as you can see that the payload is equals to 1. Yes, condition is not equals to 5 because payload value is 1. That's why it is going to inside that, and we have set one variable vtemp for record 1 is first, and we have also changed the initial variable value to, let me show you, this value with space and payload value is 1. So we have basically changed the initial variable value to checking variable available at on complete space 1 for record number 1. Okay, so let me move ahead. I'm going to show you. So this is a kind of repetitive step for record number 2nd, and for record number 3rd also the same step. Record number 4th same step, but record number 5 we are not setting a vtemp variable. Yes, because it is skipping a vtemp variable. So the main focus is on step number 2. So all records processed by step number 1, then we are moving with step number 2 here. So as you can see that we got record number first, payload 1, and what is a variable we are getting? Yes, so we are getting a temp value as a first for record number 1, and what is the initial value? Initial value we are getting 1 because we have appended a payload when we are basically processing record number first. Let me show you for record number 2nd. Record number 2nd, the temp value is 2nd and phase 2. Record number 3rd, 3 and 3rd. Record number 4th, same thing, 4th and phase 4. But record number 5, we don't have this temp variable because we have not set temp variable. So what does it mean? Variable propagation. The variable propagation means that whenever you are setting a variable inside while processing your record, so that particular variable attached with record. So whenever the same record processing by further steps, so you are able to get actual value of those variables. So as you can see that we have changed this initial variable value inside these steps and we have created a new variable. So here our record processed by other steps, so those records are getting a value of variable which currently we have set or changed. So whatever value, whatever state of the variable here in the batch step 1, for the other steps we are getting a same value. Okay, so as you can see that the record number 5 we have not set vtemp, that's why we are not getting. So our variable attached with record, they are basically going with the records. That's why we are getting those variables along with these two default variables. These two default variables give you the metadata information. What is a record, what is a payload site, what is a MIME type. So basically underscore mule, underscore batch, underscore internal, underscore record will give you metadata. This batch instance ID, you know that it is a instance ID of batch, job is running. Let me show you what we are getting at on complete phase. On complete phase, we are getting a basically batch job result. This is an object. Inside that object, you already seen that we have number of basically key value pair like loaded record, successful record, process record, failed record, along with variable. There are one variable is always becoming, the variable name is batch instance ID, and one variable which we have set here to on complete phase. You are not able to see the variable value which we have sent in the step 1. You are not able to see that value for that variable. The variable value is the same as you have set before batch job is running. So this is all about part 1, and I will start a part 2 of this video. You will see the most kind of complex example in the part 2.